No matter if you think there are 1,000 avatars, a few hundred, or less than that, there's still some things we need to reckon with, and that's the fact that some of them died pretty young. Hey guys, welcome to my Geek Talk. Today I wanted to discuss about avatars and the history of avatars and the potential brutal history of the early avatars. So as we know from the beginnings episode in Legend of Korra, Juan was the first avatar and he died in the middle of battle. Granted, he died at a relatively old age. He had gray hair and, gray beard and all that kind of stuff. We don't know exactly his age as far as I know. Maybe that age is somewhere. If there is an age, then I will, correct myself. But we can recognize that he died relatively young. He didn't die in his sleep. He did not die of old age or anything like that. So that got me thinking, especially after doing my video about how many avatars were there. We kind of discussed about the average age of avatars. So far, of what we know in the canon so far, Karuk is the youngest to have died at age 33. That's just the youngest known avatar. And then Kyoshi at like 230 or something like that. But we don't know exactly about the other avatars, especially the early avatars. And it got me thinking that possibly some of those early avatars died really, really young. And I can see that happening because I don't think early humans would care all that much about this all-powerful being. If you have people like, the modern Fire Nation, or you have like Earth Kingdom, who are, really about taking over and making sure they have control, having an avatar run around is not the most advantageous thing for them. And we even got this with the Red Lotus and the backstory of how they tried to kidnap Avatar Korra when she was just a baby. So I'm sure this kind of history played out quite a lot, especially in the brutal early history of human history, or at least in human history in terms of the Avatar franchise. So it got me thinking that some of these avatars might have died as infants, as early as infants, or as children, or while they were training in their teen years, for it to make sense. Like, for instance, if you think there are actually 1,000 avatars in a 10,000 lifespan, or in terms of the timeline between the harmonic convergence, that means the average age of an avatar is 10 years old. And the only way to make sense of that means some avatars had to die extremely young, and that's really dark, and something that I'm slightly into, because I think that looking into the dark history of avatars, like, it wasn't always the best thing to be Avatar. It may have even been a death sentence for some children. Like, let's say like somebody, the air nomads just had their avatar died because they were assassinated, and then that hops over to the water tribes and they're like, oh no, let's keep our avatar hidden because these people are going to try and get them. I think that would bring up some pretty cool stories. Of course, this is me just speculating, but I mean, in terms of how long the timeline is and how many avatars there are, no matter what age you think, some of them had to die pretty young for the age, average age span to make sense. But that's it. I just wanted to bring up that quick notion that I brought up. I know I've been kind of dark in these past few videos, but hey, sometimes Avatar gets pretty dark when you're talking about, genocide and war and stuff like that. These kind of things will happen. I want to know what you guys think, though. Do you think that this is possible, that the early history of the avatars were very brutal, and it's not until we got into this modern society that we've gotten, long-living avatars? As we've seen from the past lives, we see that most of them, pretty much all of them, are looking of adult age, except for Karuk, who's a young adult. Well, no, he's an adult. He's just an older young adult, if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.